I just wanted to say, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you're not over the age of 18, please get the fuck out. Thank you.
I made this for you.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Florida Swamp Monkey video. Sorry, I've been meaning to catch up with you. We went in the Dunkin' out, there was like 4 or 5 other drivers all sitting there. Everybody with their phone out. And like the video, please subscribe, man, it helps me out a lot. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, which I wanted to cancel that one too, because it was like, I've got to clock in today at 2, so I don't really have too much time to run orders.
Need you in my life, Jesus. I can't live without you, Jesus.
That's right.
Holy crap. Holy crap. It's really already almost 11? What? Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome back. Another video. Like I said, I wasn't able to get her running around, do any of that Uber today. I did log on for a little bit, but all I got was like 11 rejections out of it and 2 cancellations basically. So yeah, it wasn't a good day. I tried, only needed to make like, one good $10 order, was pretty much all I was looking for. Never came through. Like I said, I was able to catch a 6 and an 8. The two of them were supposed to be bundled together to make it like a $14 run. But then I got to the Wendy's, and when I got to the Wendy's, the order was just completely missing. They were trying to tell me, oh, that's at the other Wendy's. That's at the other Wendy's over there by the interstate. And I'm like, no, it's definitely supposed to be here. I'm like, the app is telling me this one right here off of this highway. I'm trying to be polite with them, but they're trying to tell me I'm wrong and that I need to go to the other Wendy's. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna waste my time by going to the other Wendy's because it was sent to this location. This is the location it was supposed to be at, but whatever. In the app they say, double check with the staff to make sure the order isn't there, da 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 da. So I waited, about 3 customers were in line, cashier, she's doing her thing, trying to get everybody checked out, everybody's order in, whatever. And then after those 3 people place their order, I go back up to her and ask her again, like, hey, I'm here for, lady's name was, let's say her name was Brittany, and I'm here for Brittany's order, and she's like, oh, I don't have an order for Brittany. I've got an order for Daniel, and I've got an order for Maria. And I'm like, no, there's supposed to be an order for Brittany. And she's like, I don't know what to tell you. We don't have it. So, I don't know. I was like, all right, cool. It's just, just double checking that it wasn't here for whatever reason, just before I cancel it on my end and it hits my cancellation rate, and it affects me because the restaurant couldn't keep their S together better. You know what I mean? But anyway, I had to, like I said, I had to hit cancel on that because from what I could see, it looked like somebody else picked up the order. So, and then the other order, the only reason I was even taking that one is because they added it on. Like, I wanted to do the Wendy's. And then they were like, hey, will you go ahead and do this other one too? They added it on. And I was like, they sent me that request before. I didn't want it because it was going all the way up to the other side of the interstate,
I don't, and you know it.
But the Wendy's order, like I said, it was going about halfway to that one anyway. I sat there, I thought in my head, I'm like, well, if they would have gave me that as a double, I probably would have took it. You know what I mean? Because they gave me the 2 orders, and I rejected them both, pretty much. And, I was like, well, they were going the same way. That was so stupid. It didn't just give me that as a double. And as soon as I think that, boom, here it comes as a double. And like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I get up to Wendy's. Wendy's was supposed to be a good little extra $6 to make the $8 trip going all the way to the other side of the interstate. Make that actually worth it. Fight all these traffic lights, go up and down this street. Deal with everybody and their shenanigans. Everybody trying to get on the interstate. Everybody trying to get off the interstate, and then this one particular road being like the busiest street in the whole city, all that all added together, plus it's 12, and yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I lost that, long story short, lost that order at the Wendy's, so I was like, well, fuck the other one then, and threw that one away. And Uber, you know, I get a hold of support to cancel it. They're like, we encourage you to just go ahead and complete the order. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm okay. You know, I was like, you know, because, like, really, you have a right to refuse the order. You know what I mean? You do. You know what I mean? You're kind of like an independent contractor, and you agree yes or no. You know, yes or no, yes or no. You know what I mean? They also percentagize you on, you know, the amount of your yeses versus the amount of your nos. You know what I mean? And they already beat up my acceptance rate so bad that it knocked me down into gold. You know, and then now that I'm in gold, my cancellation rate went up, basically, you know, because I had like a 5% window while in diamond, but now that I'm in gold, I think it's like a 7 or 8% window. So I was like, well, fuck it. Anyway, I'm like, y'all sent me 30 order requests in a row, sort of, not necessarily all in a row, but, you know, out of the last 30 requests that they sent me, 4 of them were like actually acceptable. You know what I mean? So it's like I say, it's like they get to a point they'll just target you. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I had a guy reach out to me in a comment a couple weeks ago. He's like, oh, you might be shadow banned. You know, which that makes sense too. You know what I mean? They're sitting back thinking about it, you know, and everything. Because there will be entire days where I won't get an order. You know what I mean? Or the same thing happened on YouTube, pretty much. Like, I wasn't able to reply to comments. I don't know why exactly, you know, because I'm not trying to say anything in a written message where it's going to get my whole account banned. You know what I mean? Granted, you know, you have freedom of speech, at least in this country, to a certain extent. You know what I mean? So I don't have to worry about swearing exactly. You know what I mean? But I try not to just, you know, like, fuck, you know, I shouldn't even have said that. You know what I mean? But I try not to be like a pirate the whole way through, you know. You know, granted, I was born in, so, you know, part of, you know, it's just it's the pirate capital of the world for a reason. You know what I mean? But sometimes I feel like, yeah, I don't know. We're all just like landlocked pirates. You know what I mean? That's Florida. You know, it's a bunch of landlocked sailors that, you know, because the government wants to rip us out of our cash. You know, the amount of money we're making and the amount that the dollar is actually worth and the amount that it's taxed, and, you know, we're just all landlocked. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a pretty good day. Other than that, and other than the fact that, you know, I'm still trying to get the kinks out of the job and everything. Like I said, I'm trying to be a good, solid weekend warrior for the guy. You know, so that way, granted, you know, I can't run the whole store by myself on the weekend. You know, I'll need somebody else there. But, you know, pretty much the guy, you know, so that way he can work his Monday through Friday, and then pretty much can breathe easy Saturday, Sunday, and Friday night. You know, and then I haven't like had the face-to-face conversation with him like I should have. We've pretty much just been talking about it over text, back and forth, because the dude's really busy. You know what I mean? And I'm a late night guy, so pretty much when I get in there, we're tagging out. You know what I mean? So I ain't had really, you know, I should have taken like 2 or 5 minutes to like sit down and talk to him. You know, because we could have negotiated. You know what I mean? Like I get, you know, you can't really like pick and choose your hours unless you're an Uber driver. You know what I mean? I understand that. So, you know what I mean? I was trying to give him the better days of the week, you know, like as far as, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for me to go and find a second job to work around that, you know, and tell the other job, like, oh, well, I can't work weekends. It's going to be hard for me to find a second actual paying job, you know what I mean? Because I would have to find something that's okay with just working me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you know, hopefully just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so that way Thursdays can be off between both jobs. You know what I mean? Have one day that's completely off. That's the plan, at least. You know, and in the meantime, I'm just running Uber orders. You know, yeah, and then I got my mom hassling me about, you know, go down here, go down there, and do that, do this, that, go over here. You know, have you tried there? Have you done that? What about this? Have you done that? I'm like yes, I honestly, like, anything I could have applied to, I have applied to. And the places that I want to work that I can't apply to because they put some bullshit speed bump in the way on their application, like, you know, they got a 200 question personality test that it's predicted it's going to take you an hour to complete. You're supposed to do that for free, just as part of the application, so that you can get past the application to get to the interview process, to where you can actually talk to somebody face to face and have them see a little bit of your personality, like actually in person. You have to deal with all this extra bullshit on the computer, which I get, you know, like, it was a good idea to go paperless with applications, but it was not a good idea to, like, turn every application into a final exam for English. You know what I mean? And granted, you know, it's a personality test, so I try to answer the way that an employer would want to hear, but at the same time, I also try to be realistic too, because we're human. You know what I mean? You can't expect every human to just be a robot for you. You know what I mean? So when I do those personality tests, I don't just answer like a yes man robot, you know? But I try to pick the best answer, you know? Like, usually it's drop what you're doing and help the customer. You know, that's usually what, you know, they give you some kind of situation and then A, B, D, C, you know, A, B, C, D response back to that situation. You know, and usually I'll pick whatever is, like, you know, immediately. If there's a customer trying to get help from you, but you're busy stocking a shelf, you know, like, obviously you stop what you're doing and go help the customer. You know what I mean? Like, unless, you know, like, it's because there's some sign, you know, it'll say like, oh, you're, you know, but then you look and you see your coworker's not really doing anything, so you pretty much, you play the pass the blame game. Is that what you would do? Is you'd play the pass the blame game and make your coworker that's just milking the clock actually assist the customer, because you're actually already working on something and they're just talking to their other friend that is also their coworker. You know what I mean? And then obviously, like, in that situation, I would answer like a human and be like, well, yeah, because I'm already doing something. Why not make the other guy that's getting paid do something too? You know, and you would think that that's the way somebody that would be hiring people would have wanted you to answer. Because, yeah, it's honestly, it's more productive for you to not stop what you're doing and go help a customer find macaroni noodles because they don't know how to read the map of the store on the aisle, that, you know, the aisle that says this is pasta and rice and sauce down this aisle. So you got to go stop what you're doing. So, you know, you can't break down your 60 cases an hour that you know, because they expect you to move like a machine. So you can't just stock a shelf. No, you have to be timed while you're doing it and have a quota and a SKU and all this. You know, you can't just go to work and work. You have to work as hard as the computer says that human is supposed to work. You know what I mean? And it's why? You know what I mean? Like, I'm already here anyway. Like, you basically just need a body in the position, but you want to be a bitch about the metrics. And then you get to the, like, y'all are wondering why the fuck we won't do anything. What's wrong with this generation? They don't want to work. They don't want to do. It's like, yeah, because we've spent 200 fucking hours plus trying to find work, and then you get there, and then, you know, they got you competing with each other for a promotion, you know, or whatever fucking carrot they can dingle in front of your fucking face, while the dollar is getting ripped in half again, you know, and they want to tax you. You get, you know, 7% sales tax at least. You know, some counties it's more, some states it's more. But, you know, a minimum 7% on anything you go to buy. Plus, they tax you before you even actually get paid. So you're getting taxed on the way in, and you're getting taxed spending it. Why? You know, like, I get it. It's just part of the system. You know, we're all stuck in the system. But, you know, we've been stuck in the system for so fucking long. It's so fucking corrupt. And there ain't shit we can actually fucking do about it. You know? And the less we do about it, the more the world wants to bitch at us for being fucking lazy. You know what I mean? It's like I said, you can't win from losing in this bitch. You know what I mean? And all you can do is keep fucking moving forward. You know what I mean? But at the same time, they're ripping your fucking head out, you know? Bending your neck over, biting the shit out of you, just suck the fucking blood from you, while you're trying to not destroy yourself by working in the first place. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, I can't tell you how many jobs you know, and I've got an injury for life. You know, like, this shoulder's fucked up because of a car crash, and then it got fucked up again because of working at FedEx, and then, you know, I got my big toe is fucking broke and crooked from also working at FedEx, and then, you know, like, I can't remember specifically, but I bet I injured myself in Amazon too, you know what I mean? And then you don't even get, you know, like, And then plus, like right when like COVID started, right, like the December of December of 2019, I got a coworker from New York comes up to me. He gets like this far from me, right, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sick as a dog. It's mostly in this ear," which, like, it's mostly in this ear. I'm sick as a dog. And I'm like, dude, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, if you're sick as a dog, why are you within 6 inches of my face right now? You know what I mean? And then, yeah, so I can hear out of this ear, but only like 40% of what I used to. Like since COVID, I have not had proper hearing in this ear either.
What? What? Come on. What?
What did you say?
Well, that escalated quickly.
What?
What, fucking tear yourself open to meet some metric for them, and then meanwhile, like I said, you're working either way, you know what I mean? Like, why the fuck would it even actually matter how fast you're actually moving if you're actually there and you're one of the people that are actually fucking working? You know what I mean? But it's the stupidest part, like, why, the median income for anybody in a business, like say you're at Walmart, the median income for an employee at Walmart, right? Why, do the math on this, because you'll come back with about the same numbers. The CEO makes 250 to 290 times what a median average employee would make working in that same company. So the median employee, let's say they make 50K a year because they grind it, and they find a way to make 1,000 a week, right? The CEO is making 250 to 290 times as much, right? And because they can't live with just 100 times as much. Like 100 times 50K, like honestly, you can't live comfortably on that. You need your head checked. You know what I mean? I get inflation and I get everything's going crazy right now, but honestly, like, you're making 100 times what your medium worker is making. And then it's not even the case, because you're making double or triple that, 2.5 or almost triple that. It's just sick, you know what I mean? And then every day we go to work and bust ass, and it only makes them bigger. We're hoping we can maybe have enough money where we can feed our kids if you have them, and they can have, some kind of college tuition or, college fund or something where they don't have to pay for the first 12 years of their work. The first 12 years of their working life, they have to pay a student loan, because their parents actually made enough money by working themselves to be able to cover that, I don't know, dude. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and stop. I don't know, I wanted to make some kind of a video for y'all for the day. I know it's kind of a crappy rant video, but there it is, you know what I mean? At least there's a video today. I didn't think there would be a video today, so I don't know. Baby steps, baby steps.
Goodbye, my friend.
You have been the one. You have been the one for me. Touch my heart.
You're gonna get us
This
a copy
is
of that.
stupid.
Then
Or
this
shares.
is so stupid.
And God, that's my phone.
I didn't hear a phone
To be
ring.
continued.
The end. Good night, Stewie.
Don't read me books that you write.